All right, everybody, welcome. As always, the first few minutes is going to just to get everything set up and get some time for people to join in, get ready. Tell me if you have any issues with the microphone or anything else like that. I'll be watching the comments, so let me know if everything is fine, and I'll be beginning in just a few moments. Sweet. So, getting everything ready on my side. Welcome everybody. So I don't see any comments. Make mic volume tad low. Okay, so let's try to get it a bit up. Yeah, I apologize. Move it here so we don't have the fan from the computer there too much. How is that? Let me know. Bring it up a little bit more. All right, so let's get us started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my humble live stream. The number 2 is there because I also had a 0 live stream, which was more of like an experiment to see that I can actually manage this technically. So hopefully we won't have much of technical issues. So today, what this is going to be all about is going through a little bit of Meteor news and then going straight to Meteor Community Survey, which is right now open. You can see the link in the description. So if you want to open it up and fill it up with me, that would be awesome. Also, please make sure to share that with everybody as well. So without further ado, let's just talk big Meteor news. And probably the first big news is that Meteor is still alive and doing very, very well, or at least when it comes to development. We have a lot of work to do. So the main big thing is that we have upcoming version 2.8 of Meteor coming up. And if we switch to the view here, you can see there's a lot of pull requests, a lot of them related to that, and that is because in Meteor 2.8 we have the introduction of async methods, like over here, and that's in preparation for the removal of fibers from Meteor, so we can update to Node 16 and beyond. So I would say that's especially for those if you haven't been around for a little bit. That's big news. So how this is going to go is there is going to be like with any methods or subscriptions or anything that was synchronous till now, you can now add async to the end of it. So and that will then you can then you would do the async await calls as you would in other JavaScript code. So obviously there's a lot of stuff to do underneath the surface for that. And then the next step is obviously removal of fibers and all the old synchronous code. So that will be kind of again with the async you can kind of have the first step to get towards these new methods, subscriptions, etc. And then once the old sync or as we use with fibers is removed, we will have for a while both options to name, but it will resolve to one function, and eventually the async addition is going to be removed. But it's probably like Meteor 4.0 or something like that when that's going to happen. And personally, I think that Meteor 3.0 is going to be moving everybody to the asynchronous calls, because that will be upgrade to Node 16, maybe hopefully even further 18. In other also news, we have Meteor Impact coming up in October 13th and 14th. So if you haven't done that, please go ahead and register for Impact. I just added today 2 new talks. So the agenda is filling up. If you have a talk that you would like to give, workshop, or anything else interesting you would like to share with community, please let me know, and I'll be happy to add it. But as you can see, we have times where we can accommodate you is getting limited. So don't waste any time, and get that sorted. Also, if you have a company, we would really appreciate if you would join these companies as well in sponsoring Impact as well, so we can make it even better. Big change this year is that with companies, you will be able to see here they have like a hiring tag, so you can now know when if they are hiring, and hopefully eventually the companies will give you more information. Also, there will be 2 it's like talk now sessions. It's what it really is a trade show, so you will be able then to go to these companies and have like one-on-one with their representatives. Another big thing here is that this year we have a point game, so based on activities that you do during the conference, you will get points, and based on where you score, you will get some rewards. And I still have to add here some new rewards that I managed to negotiate as well. So these are, there will be some additional additions to this as well. So hopefully my goal with Impact is to, keep on expanding it, making it better, and kind of come closer to, what we would probably get with other big conferences. For me, the inspiration for this are the Linux Foundation conferences that I visited, and of course MongoDB World. But MongoDB World is super crazy when it comes to giving out stuff and similar things. So that's kind of more in the distant future, hopefully. So yeah, and if you have a company, or if you're in a company, we'll be happy if you could recommend for sponsorship, or maybe consider one of the community contributors to sponsor to them. By the way, my sponsorship link is in the description as well. So let me know in the chat if you have any question, or since I saw colors here as well, if you want me to highlight something else as well. In general, Meteor community packages are live and kicking. Every week I try to merge some stuff or do some work. So we have occasional releases of packages here and there as well. Most of the time right now just patches, and up ahead is the switch to fibers-free code. So that will be a lot of work that's coming in the future. So I'll just leave a little bit of time to catch up, and then we'll switch to the main topic of the day, which is the Meteor Community Survey. Something that started in, let's see, when was it we first started? I think 2020, yes. So this is the 3rd survey that we are doing. My eventual goal with this survey is to move it to its own web page and platform, similar to we have the state of surveys, state of JS, state of CSS, and all that stuff. So that's my eventual goal with this. But in the meantime, because sadly it's I have to I have other things. I need to kind of feed myself, so I need to work on other things. And right now I'm kind of engaged with 2 startups, so I don't have the time needed to make this happen. But hopefully next year I'll manage to get some extra time and get it done. So the idea here is that I'm going to go and actually fill up the survey for myself. If you want to fill out, it'd be great. I'm going to go and kind of talk about my answers, why I've asked this question on the survey. So you will see my answers and all that stuff. And feel free to kind of ask question again in the chat if you have any questions or anything I say, so that I can address that. And yeah, the survey, the initial, it's going to close about a week before impact. And then at impact, I'm hoping that I can manage to get enough data analyzed and together, at least the very basic ones, with this first one, when you choose just things like this. So these mechanical data, as I would call them, where I can just create a quick, easy draft graph that will be at impact. If we go back to schedule, let's go calendar view. Should have a presentation. Yes, on Thursday. This will be times you see are in Central European Standard Time. Once you actually look at it, that will be times in your local time zone. So this is when will be kind of the initial preview of the results. Then after that, I will be writing a article with more details, and with that also I will be doing some additional anonymization of the data, especially of the comments that can be put in, so that then the raw data can be then published to to the public, and you can do additional analysis if you want to on it or not, or just if you want to just read through all the different individual comments. So without further ado, let's get started with my questions or answers. So first time, what year did you start using Meteor? As this is like 2011. You might be kind of wondering, what the heck, 2011, Meteor wasn't around. I'm just putting it if by a chance we get somebody who actually managed to get their hands on Skybreak first preview, which was published in February 2011, which was precursor to Meteor. As you can see from this timeline I did year ago. So, and then if you were like the early adopters, you would put 2012. I knew about Meteor in 2014, I think maybe a bit in 2013. That might be the first time I've heard about it. Definitely 2014, or at least the end of it. And then I was watching it through 2015. Sorry, no, let's see. I graduated my bachelor's 2014, so 2015 is definitely when I knew about it. Or was it? Yes. And then winter of 2015, 2016 is when I started with Meteor. So it must have been 2015 when I took it out for a spin, got amazed and said, this is where I want to do my master's in. It's such a long time ago. So for me, it was 2015. So this is, right now I'm back in Czechia. So hopefully next year it will be Japan. Yes, I'm using Meteor at work. Currently have 2 Meteor startups. And this is kind of tough to say how many projects use Meteor, like all of them. So, but it's 2 companies, 2 major products. I'll just stick with 2. And companies, both of them are smaller than 10 people, so straightforward. All right, so this was kind of the first, kind of initial about yourself and relationship with Meteor to get the idea of where the person started. And now we are getting into the about Meteor itself section, and this is where we can talk about more of Meteor, the classical questions, what front to use. But this year, what we have new is how likely, the could say the scale of how much would you recommend Meteor for future projects and similar things. So I would personally use Meteor for everything. I don't want to even. I'm just not moving anywhere for it. I'm just super comfortable with it. So I'm sticking with Meteor for the foreseeable future, probably as long as possible. And hopefully I won't have any reason to leave, because it's just so, at least right now, as far as I've seen, it's much better than any alternatives that I've tested. Though, as with every technology, I would not recommend it for everything. Meteor is not perfect for everything. For example, static pages, I would not recommend it for. But if you need like a real-time application, or similar thing, or just really want to get projects out quickly, that's where I would definitely recommend it. So in this scale, I would put 9 then. The first version of Meteor I used, that's a tough one, because I think I started just after version 1.0, but it wasn't 1.0 that I've started with. Remember I've said I want to wait for 1.0 to make sure that it is that it's stable and ready to go. I didn't jump on the 0.x versions. I do believe it was 1.1 that I just came in. And then I very vividly remember version 1.3 and what uproar that was in the community, and all the changes that happened around it. So that's where I came in. So what is the oldest version of Meteor that I use in production? I am a freak when it comes to updating and making sure that everything is up to date. So I'm up on the latest versions, making sure that always stays like that. You will probably see it also with even like with my other software that I use, like pretty much every day I check if there's like a new update for the version of my software that I'm using here on Linux and so on. So I'm always trying to keep up to date. Though there are a couple of like packages that I use in my projects that I cannot update to the newest versions for various reasons, and that makes me very upset. But at least I know it's somewhere on the timeline to make it possible in the future. So how recently have you used Meteor in a live project? So since I'm active developer, that's 1 month. Very easy. And this is kind of to gauge, are there people who are kind of like returning to Meteor, or like looking up Meteor, or keeping up with Meteor even though they are not using it actively. So that's what I'm looking here in this question. And in the previous one, with the versions, we want to kind of see where people started and where they are right now. This will become especially important once we later on go to see what are the blockers for upgrading. So since I have startups, both of them are commercial products. So that's for these questions, again, to give us more idea of where are people using Meteor. How recently have you started new Meteor projects? Completely new one in this case. So that's kind of what I'm looking in the last. Let's see, the last one for the startup, it was a very crazy story, maybe something that I'll tell during Impact. And that was in April. So in the last 6 months. And it was a commercial product as well. So, and here I mentioned, regarding the previous versions, kind of this is all interconnected to see, what are the blockers, and in my case, I have none when it comes to upgrading Meteor. I am using React. This is very famous question, I think, for in Meteor. What front are you using? Using React. I have some like demo projects and similar. Actually, I have one tiny project that I like more on the personal side. I haven't touched in half a year as well. That's in Blaze. So, but for the purpose of this survey, I'll stick with React. I have Blaze. Blaze is for me is, I'm helping to maintain it, and I'm kind of occasionally playing with it to kind of keep up with it and don't completely forget it. But really like Blaze as well. So I am using GraphQL with Meteor as well. I am currently not using RaceUplog, but I'm seeing myself very soon. And I am sticking with MongoDB. I am actually very happy with the documentation. Little issues here and there, but they are being fixed. Same thing with the guide. And I would say actually this has improved significantly, because one of the things that we have done in the past year is we moved the guide and documentation into the main Meteor repository, so it's together. So once you submit a pull request that makes any changes, we can can have it all together with documentation and guide, and we don't have to then constantly create additional pull requests and check that you have all of them all of them ready, and so it's less of a maintenance hassle. So, and that, I would say that also has kind of improved things as well, because now it's all in one place that everybody checks constantly, and it's working, I think, very well. So how satisfied are you with the state of packaging system? So in this case, we are talking about the built-in Meteor packaging system. Maybe I can probably put that in. Another impression could be also including what we have with NPM. So since we have NPM, that's as well. For me, the issue there is that there are EMS modules that you can kind of define in the package.json don't work yet with Meteor, but that's already in the roadmap to fix once we get on node 16. So that makes me a bit unhappy that we cannot do it sooner, but that's fine. In general, I also added about almost a year ago, deprecation kind of flags to the current Atmosphere package. So I think that also helped a lot, though I would like to see that to be more prominent on Atmosphere and Pancosphere as well. So in this case, I would then put 7, because there is a significant room to improvement here. I'll say with the state of the build tools and build times, I think I would maybe a bit outlier because I have beefy machines, so I don't have issues with build times. Those are going pretty well for me. Build tools, the only issue I have is with the ESM packages that sadly cannot be built. So I'll put 8. Other than that, I didn't have any issues. I did start a Meteor course. Sadly, right now I only did the first one, and it's kind of, in my position, it's more of a reminder and of like kind of the basics as well. 'Cause sometimes it's Remember, very long time ago, there was like a reminder forums in regards to how to deal, or how to behave. And one of the things is, before you answer, remember where you started. That's for me was always, gonna keep a reminder that, not everybody is on the same level. So it's always good to kind of go back, check the basics, that they still work, and that there's, a nice path that people can follow. I will have to do the collections later. That I'm very happy with the Meteor University, but let's put it 9 to make sure that there's room for improvement. So how likely to recommend Meteor to other developers? I'm always going to put it. That's kind of why I also became Meteor ambassador. And always recommend Meteor University for them to get started, because just like, go there, get the basics, get started, then come back and we'll continue your path. How likely you are to recommending using Meteor to develop a production product? Of course, then. It's but again, this is I'm taking this kind of look at it. This is where there is a fit for Meteor. If there is a fit for Meteor, I'm going to recommend Meteor. If there is a not fit for Meteor, then I'm not going to recommend it, and those are not projects that I would be even involved with in any way. So that's how I kind of see it. So before we go next, I'll leave a bit of a time for you to type in any questions, comments. So also make sure that everything is working technically on my side. All right, looks like we are good. And also, let me know if you have already filled out the survey or are just filling it out now, or will you do it later as well. So that's your call to action to put into chat. And now we have a question from Gusto. I'm going to keep it to the end. That's also like another thing. If you have like a general question, not related to the survey or so on, then still fine. I'm just going to answer them at the end into the more general discussion. So that's that. So Gustav return to that one as well. So the next hello Rodrigo. Next section is about deployment, about how kind of running Meteor in production. And okay, so Laurie has a question about, and this is related to a question was asked about if you're running other databases with Meteor. And this question is, does Meteor support other databases than MongoDB? The answer is yes. And it's not necessarily always easy. So we have here let's see if I can find it. So we have some packages for that. And I'm just right now blanking. Oh, what was his name? Yeah, Vlasky has a big one about MySQL. So every time if somebody asked that, he was always raging. Of course, haven't you done even the basic search? Yes, it's possible to have other databases run with Meteor. Usually you run into issue when you are using packages that are pretty much set up to use MongoDB. But that being said, we have already kind of started in discussion, very interesting topic. Let's see if I can, yes, here we go. Make support for PostgreSQL using Oxify and FredDB. It's from Vriske, and he found, these OxyDB and FredDB. But the idea, it's pretty much like a communication layer that takes your MongoDB queries and translates them for, PostgreSQL. And we actually had for OxyDB, the creator, come in here and kind of, they are going through the to-do tutorial to make sure that all the calls that Meteor is making are supported. So I think that is something that we'll be having hopefully next year, maybe even sooner, depending on how this project goes. And it will be, I think, even become easier to support these. So yeah, that's it's not, obviously in core, but it's possible to do if you need it. Another way would be, for example, through GraphQL, where you just add, additional source for, it wouldn't be, that would be probably best if you have like some data in MongoDB and then you have some, in PostgreSQL somewhere else, so you can kind of combine them together. That's where GraphQL is very powerful in that. So Rodrigo, regarding the results, they will be at Impact, and one of the things that I like to do is get in the first question, ask you where you are from with the country. So I will be creating a map to show where are the answers, people, different answers that came from. If we look, let me quickly check from the last year in regards to surveys from there. Let me pull that up. So that's on my blog, or say Dev2 blog. I'll get to that after I finish at the end. So you can see I'm doing all these graphs and everything. And let's see, do I have the map? Yes, here's the locations map. So I'll kind of cover some of that later. But let's go back to the survey. Feel free to ask more questions. If it's related exactly to the survey, I'll answer it as I get them. If it's not related to the survey, I'll answer it at the end. So as I mentioned before, right now we are on the third section. Let's ask about Meteor in production. And Rodrigo, this will answer your question in regard expansion to South America. So I'll start with the first one. Are you hosting your Meteor apps on Galaxy Meteor Cloud? Yes, I'm hosting all of them because I don't have the time to deal with DevOps or setting up anything else. Though I have experimented with Linode and Meteor app, with some hiccups, but I am in touch with Linode and I need to get the Meteor app guys as well to see if we can get that up, because if that would work, that would be, I would say, the cheap option for Meteor hosting. So what would I like to see added to Meteor Cloud? I'm generally happy. There are kind of two things, because what I see, kind of like as the holy grail of production deployments or deployments in general is MongoDB Atlas, which is sadly only for MongoDB, but it's multi-cloud, multi-regional setup, and how super easy it is absolutely incredible. Would love if Galaxy could become like that for Meteor and potentially even like Node applications. So I would be thinking for that would be, in that case would be router to, so let's say if the router is the correct word, but I kind of want to have one application, and that I can just put in one command, and it will deploy to all of my regions. And then there is of course router that if the domain is it, then it will then redirect you to the correct region. So routing to proper region for deployed regions. That's one. Multi-cloud. More regions. So those are kind of my big three. And for me right now, what I'm looking for, I would love to see the Asia Pacific region, because that's where I kind of will be focusing my business. So that's those are those two. And this is also, I would say, also very important question, especially if you want to add more regions. I've talked with Meteor Software about adding more regions and all the other issues related, so they are well aware of it, and it's just a matter of priorities and getting the features eventually there. Building something like Atlas requires a tremendous war chest, which they don't have, and amazing people and time. So that's so it's going to probably take a while. But when it comes to opening new regions, you can actually, like, if you really need it and have the money, you can reach out to Meteor Software and ask for private cloud. So they will open it for you. Of course that costs money, and then maintaining it monthly costs money. So it's possible to open it where you want to. And one of the option is, or the idea, for example, that I have, once I actually get my company big enough, that I plan to open, say the Tokyo or Singapore region, starting with my company, and eventually make that a public cloud. So, but that is, given that we are successful and start making good money and have enough people in the region to justify that. So that's that part. So if you're not using Galaxy, what other hosting services do you use? I am not using anything else. I know a lot of people doing on-premises or self-hosted. That might happen to me in the future. Not looking forward to it. And as I mentioned before, I'm looking with kind of opening Linode for easy deployments. So, of course, I kind of try to get all the other big hosting providers as well. I'm using APM, yes. I'm using the built-in Galaxy because I'm on Galaxy and I'm paying for it. So that's that. Say any issues with scaling as of right now. It's also partially because I am not, I don't have crazy traffic. When I was with Pathable, we had, of course, the app performance issues, specifically with our MongoDB query, so that was a big one, and a lot of other issues. But for right now, for me, that's it. So let's go to the next section. So that's about the community. Meteor Community Packages. So of course, since I'm one of the co-founders of Meteor Community Packages, of course I've heard about it. I'm willing to support people financially. Right now, since I'm kind of starting the two businesses, I don't have any financial income except for what I actually get from my sponsorship. Link below in description if you're interested. So right now I'm not sponsoring anybody else at the moment. And GitHub sponsors is the way to go, but I also have some crypto as well. And this is a big new one. I am not looking forward to getting the data for this very quickly analyzed. It's probably good. Not sure if I'll make it for impact. And that's to go to places to consume Meteor content. Obviously, 1 to 0, 10 the most. Or wait, is it rank? So that would be okay. So it's number 1 through 10, and there's like 10 options. Okay, I'll have to put that in. So number 1 for me is GitHub. That's kind of where I go and see things. Second is Meteor forums. So third one would be, I would probably go to Discord and Slack. They are kind of on the same, but right now is Discord because I'm there more often. Then it would be Meteor Block, though that kind of has fallen actually a bit behind, and I'm no more on Dev 2 as well. Actually, I also have to put in the docs because whenever something happens, so let me move all of this here as well. And that leads us to video tutorials or Stack Overflow. I'm not going at all. And then, of course, the video tutorials, and finally, number 10 for any other options. So other is usually conferences, and that's impact, so that's very little. I have attended community meetups this year, so that meetups.meteor.com if you haven't. Right now, since everything is focused on impact, we don't have anything, but I'm guessing that it usually then kind of takes a little bit of a break. Maybe you have like 1 or 2 before the end years, and then you kind of start again. And I have some ideas to the future for that. So also, like another thing, if you want to get involved with community and stuff like that, it's pretty good to let me know if you want to start like a local meetups as well. So if yes, how many? Let's see, I would guess 5 or 6, so let's put 5. So obviously for me, I have attended impact conferences because I'm the chair and the biggest presenter there. I will be, of course, attending this year as well. So that's that. So community Slack and Discord server satisfaction. The issue with Slack is that we use free version, and it's kind of not really meant for the 400, 500 people we have there. So also after 90 days, we don't have any history. So it's kind of like just a very temporary thing. So I have like 7 there. It's really good to get some news as well. On the other hand, Discord is pretty fine. But again, it's not really what we're looking here for. Personally, I would love to probably set up in the future maybe like even Rocket Chat, especially if we could figure out maybe somehow to connect with Discord and Slack as well. We'll have to check into that to have kind of like maybe like one center. That's what I would love. I'm not sure even if that's even possible. Now then, which Meteor Community package do you think should get priority? Closer look to fix issue and improvements. This is kind of primarily for me to kind of go in and fix things up, improve things. There's a lot of requests for Meteor Desktop, so I'm going to put that up. We also have Redis uplog here as well, and kind of put all the packages that we have under our management here. So please let me know what you think. I should be focusing more in the coming weeks or weeks after impact and when I get some vacation from my startups. So what is the biggest missing from the community? For me personally, what I want to do is a central community website. I have the domain. It's just a matter of time to figure out how it should look, what it should be, and actually building it. So central community website, and that should be kind of, I have a lot of ideas, a lot of wishes for it. I don't want to kind of get here and then promise things that I cannot deliver, because right now my biggest issue is time. So that's me submitting the community survey, and with that I am done, and that allows me to answer any of the other questions that have came in. So far I see only one other that I haven't answered yet. So now is the time to go into the chat, start typing, and let me know what are your questions. And this can be anything, Meteor, or me, write it to me as well. And the question is, how popular is Meteor in Czech Republic? That's kind of hard to say, because obviously there's one big thing that I've kind of encountered when trying to gauge the popularity of Meteor is that when people are using it in the companies, they are focused on building products, and it's oftentimes very hard to get them to come into the community. Part of it is because of lack of time, and oftentimes when you are a corporate programmer, you work 9 to 5, and then you kind of are done and don't want to be usually bothered, especially if you have family or many other things going on in your life, and especially given with how economy is turning, that's also plays a big role. So it's kind of hard to get people to meetups, and kind of tough. That said, I know of 2 companies actively using Meteor. That's Apify and AG Data. I have idea of some other ones as well. Maybe I'll have to look if they are still using Meteor. I've actually found one potential company today. There's also a Czech and Slovak Facebook group for jobs related to Meteor, and that has over 100 people. Hasn't been much active, which kind of is following the downturn in community over the years. But I'll see what I can do to hopefully get it a bit more active and maybe get more people involved again and connect with them. So it's very hard to say. I would say, if we are counting developers, then I would say maybe around 30 developers from the companies, and like people who like do it on their own. So that's one. maybe more. It's hard to say. So, as you can probably guess, from my rambling. But obviously, overall, it's sadly Meteor is in a long-term downturn when it comes to, let's say, popularity. Especially when we compare it to the, big and flashy frameworks like Next and React and similar. So that's kind of hard to judge how much it's popular. Part of it also is going to be told through the surveys. So if we go kind of back here to this, click on this interactive version. This is from last year, how many people have answered, and in different regions. So obviously Canada, United States, kind of the big ones. In Europe, it's France and Germany. We have a lot of people. In Czechia, we have only 4, which is, I know there is like at least 10 times, or like at least 5 times more people that actively use Meteor. So part of it is also kind of reaching out to the people. When it comes to Brazil, we had 13, and given that a lot of Meteor core developers lately are from Brazil, and from what I'm seeing, I would say that's definitely much bigger than this. So in Japan, there's at least 1 Meteor developer as well that I know of personally. So this is, again, it's only like, I would say maybe 5% of the actual people who use Meteor have answered the survey. So hopefully this year, with your help and everybody else's help, we can, maybe spread information about the survey, get more people, engage. So that's important. Why you need, to share the survey and let people know this is happening. The same thing with impact as well, because that's a big one. Especially this year, there is a lot more opportunities to meet people and get involved. Another reason also why it's when it is that it's Oktoberfest, so it's also a good opportunity to submit pull requests to any of the projects related to Meteor. All of them are open for Oktoberfest, and then get some nice swag from Oktoberfest as well. All right. So Rodrigo stuck more with a comment. I believe the Meteor team urgently needs to invest in more up-to-date information, more urgently, at Meteor Community or University, for example. I would say the Meteor University should be up to date, because that's relatively new. Part of it also is kind of, when you look at Meteor University, you need to realize that it's for total beginners. So it might not be, you might know some more better ways how to do things, and you use additional packages. So that's something to be careful, when looking at the content at Meteor University. So in that regard, yes, I think other up-to-date documentation should be up-to-date, guide should be up-to-date, roadmap recently got updated as well, but obviously, if there are like any issues with not being up-to-date anything, right now I am gonna giving the team a bit of a slack because they are focusing on the fibers removal. And this is actually, a good thing if you know about issues with the documentation or the guide or the university. Please write it down. And one of the things this year new with Hacktoberfest that they also are focusing more on non-code submissions. So that's something that maybe you can dedicate a little bit of time, or during Hacktoberfest to fix, or you can just post a big issue where you can list all the details, and then we can put it as good first issue, and then we can have people during Hacktoberfest to get very nice and easy contribution points for that. So that's definitely one thing that can be done. And that's kind of I would say is my message to all of you. If you know about something or anything like that, especially when it's in documentation, please either submit an issue, or even better, submit a pull request with the fix. So that's important. So Rodrigo commented later on. So yes, Rodrigo, there is a lot of still staff articles and posts from 2013, 2014. That's sadly how the algorithms work, because those are kind of the most popular articles and blog posts. It's something that I, Jan Kuster, and Alain Gaffar and others are trying to fix by writing articles and posting new stuff. That's also why I'm doing these streams as well, is to produce new content, because as you said, yes, there's a lot of it, a lot of the old stuff out there, so we just need to replace it with new one. And that takes time, because sadly we don't have as high performing people like we had back in the days, Arunoda, or 100 of them. So that will take time. So working on it. If you want to start and write posts, if you have the time, that would be great. Or if you have some ideas that you want to have more streams, I'm always looking for ideas what people want me to talk about or take on. If you want me to hold live streams, say monthly, that's also something that I could consider, and do a news roundup, and maybe eventually invite some guests. That's again depends on. This is also partially if people are going to watch it. Right now I'm doing it occasionally here, because I don't have as much time as I would love to for Meteor, because I have 2 startups right now, which I hope are going to feed me in the near future, and hopefully maybe through if you like what I do, want to see more of it, then I always have to kind of point you to my sponsorship page. So if you want to have some crypto, all that stuff, some affiliate links, or as you can see here on the right, I have some options to sponsor me directly there. So Paolo, in regards to scalability, and by the way, type in now for the last questions. I will probably take 1 or 2, and then I'm going to finish it, because we've been going for almost exactly 1 hour, so I don't want to take too long. So talking about scalability, everybody loves talking about it. There is though one big problem about that, and it's different for almost all apps. When we were, for example, scaling up with Pathable, most of the issues we had were related to our MongoDB queries. That was a big one. And then we had different issues in regards to let's say app specific code. So that's kind of where it's kind of difficult to talk about scalability, because a lot of the times it's very specific to your application. That said, though, in the near future, looks like I'll be scaling my Meteor app as well, because right now one of the app I have in production has just like about 20 active user, and the next client we have is going to have about 120 of them, and if everything works out well, then it's going to be even more. So I will have even more experience with scaling, and so then I will be probably even more kind of be able to address the issues that I encounter and share with others as well. And from my experience, and this kind of goes what Paul was saying here, being scared about scaling. Don't be. I don't think anybody should be scared about scaling. Scaling means that your business or whatever you're doing is going well. And if you've done everything, or not everything, but if you've done things well, which should be the case since you are scaling, that means you also have the money to hire the people, or at least temporarily throw money at the servers before you can figure out how to become even more efficient. So it's a good problem to have. So that's kind of also like part of it, because I kind of see since I also come from, let's say, creative writing. I'm a writer. A lot of the times, kind of the beginner writer were like super crazy about copyrights and all this stuff and publishing, and they haven't even started writing their novel. And I think this is kind of similar situation, that people are scared about scaling and they haven't even had product market fit yet. But that's discussion on its own. When it comes to topics of what can be talked here, one of it is we have Redis uplog. Kind of reminds me, should have probably put that in as well. What I would like to see on Galaxy is the option to, with one click, create a Redis instance and have it being automatically connected to my Meteor application if I have the correct package or if I have Redis uplog installed. So that's kind of like the so that's kind of like the first step is, and that's you have to of course create stuff for Redis uplog to really take advantage of things. For example, the socialized packages with Kelly that I work on, they have that built in. So if you have Redis uplog installed, it has already the functionality ready to use Redis uplog and get things going. And that might be, I think, something that we can as a community can do in the near future horizon, is to add the Redis uplog functionality into the packages that use the database, and to get the advantage of that if people have that. Of course, big one is that I would, from my personal experience, recommend is take the MongoDB university courses as well. Learn about the basics, and then they have also very specific courses for scaling. And I that's a big part of it, especially unless you're using some other database with Meteor. But if you're using the MongoDB, then definitely learn more about it, because you can with optimizing your queries, that's a big one. Another big one that's also being talked about a lot is switching from publication to methods or GraphQL. That's what I have, for example, with Literary Universe. The pages that I expect to get a lot of traffic, so that's the kind of the reader facing pages. They are using mostly GraphQL to just once retrieve the data, display it, and be done. It's also kind of analyzing your application. Hey, where does it make sense that we use real-time data with publication and subscription, and where do we don't need it? That's that analysis, and that's why I say it's very much app specific. So with Literary Universe, I kind of said, okay, on the reader side where you just read, and you don't want for the most part real-time data, you just get it through GraphQL. And then on the writer side and their administration, where they are managing the universes, we want to have the real-time data, because we want the writer to see immediately what's happening with their stories and universes. But so that's a topic for another stream, as Paulo, as you pointed out. Hopefully, well, I will definitely do it at some point, maybe with some guests as well when the time comes. And I have to also get more experiences before that as well. So I hope at least kind of the basics helps you out, Paulo, in going forward. Thank you everybody for being here with me, for the questions and everything. And the next stream is probably going to be between End of Impact and the new year, if some nice topics or something presents itself, or maybe I'll start doing a regular news commentary. We shall see how time allows. Once again, I have been Jan, also I'm a storyteller. Would really love if you like what I'm doing, not just here with the stream but with everything else, if you could sponsor me through GitHub or other means. Every penny counts. And stay awesome and do amazing things with Meteor. Looking forward to seeing you all at Impact. And goodbye.